We've seen a number of reports coming out of the government that talk about the value of data and the need to do far more with big data and IoT in the transport sector. Digital transport is a key objective that the country needs to develop to unlock economic growth.
Historically, local authorities have their data in multiple different platforms. Some are proprietary, some are non-proprietary, and some just sit on Joe Bloggs' desk. It's best for us to gather all of these data sets and put them in one succinct place that we can access with a standardised APIs, so app and web developers can create things from it with more ease and save us money in future.
We've been really pleased to see how a number of local authorities we've been working with have taken advantage of oneTRANSPORT to share their data and to connect with innovative technology companies who can help them develop the kind of solutions that they would struggle to realise on their own. We've also been able to develop a number of really useful specific use cases that show how data sharing from the public sector into the private sector can be done and it can actually solve some real issues that local authorities are trying to address today with the limited assets and resources that they currently have.
We are doing a project looking at our park and rides, and we've been engaging with a third-party app developer to develop an application using the data in the platform, which has been fed in by us and then had predictive analytics applied to it, and then feeding that analytics data into their application to then give people predictions about what's happening on the network at any given time, so looking at parking predictions, journey time predictions for both bus and car, and looking at the park and ride sites versus the city centre and giving people an idea of actually what's the most convenient method of getting into the city centre likely to be.
I work at Northamptonshire County Council. oneTRANSPORT attracted us because we want to move into more of the arena of sharing data, becoming an enabling council. And we were attracted by the Innovate UK sponsored oneTRANSPORT platform because that's what that's doing. It's about opening up data. That's the critical thing we're looking for. We capture lots and lots of data, static, live data. We want to be able to bring it together, open it up, identify gaps, fill those gaps, but make data open and shared to develop innovation and greater collaboration. Well, we chose Silverstone as a use case for us because we were excited by it's a massive event, the largest single day event in the UK, but it creates impact on the road network. It crosses two boundaries, so it's in Buckinghamshire and Northamptonshire, but the impact on the network is much, much wider across Oxfordshire, the Southern Midlands and the Highways England network. So we were excited by the oneTRANSPORT opportunity because we could use Silverstone as a use case where we could bring together data which is critical for the event and managing traffic onto kind of one platform to enable collaboration and innovation with the traffic managers for Silverstone, the transport authorities, to deliver benefits for users. I think it's adding value to our data, particularly through we've used a dashboard with oneTRANSPORT into digital and Arabs, and that dashboard has been really helpful for the event management around the Formula 1 Grand Prix and around the MotoGP. So what that's done is it's turned the data into intelligence, which has enabled operational, tactical and strategic decisions to be made on the ground.
What oneTRANSPORT does, it makes life easier for companies like ours. What we're able to do is to go to a local authority that uses oneTRANSPORT, confident in the knowledge that we can access their data and we can do something with that. Of course, data quality is always an issue, but the fact that oneTRANSPORT brings together huge amounts of data actually enables us to go in there with certainty to provide quick solutions rather than going in and starting from the very beginning. We of course go in, we provide a data audit, we provide a data cleansing service, but the actual mechanics of how to get that data into our application are all taken care of by using oneTRANSPORT.
I think we recognise that a key to future mobility solutions is the availability of data, and we saw this as a great opportunity to bring together data sources that traditionally wouldn't have been available in driving solutions. So to work with local authorities and transport providers to release sets of data in order to develop new solutions and new software.
So I think there are quite a few benefits of putting our data onto the oneTRANSPORT platform. Other sort of data sharing platforms that we've looked into tend to be locally based or regionally based, which means it's harder to share data across county borders, for example. So that's a great benefit in terms of being able to compare our data sets with our counties that are neighbouring us. Also, for us, some of the benefits have been that we've had a much better understanding of what the state of our data actually is. We had a reasonably sort of good idea of what we had, but this has allowed us to look into it in a lot more detail and work out kind of where there are some gaps and start to think about what the value is of the different types of data sets that we have.
Our current systems that we have in place are far more proprietary than the oneTRANSPORT platform. oneTRANSPORT allows us to open up and use our data as we want, rather than being locked into our contracted system, where if we want to make a change, we then have to go to our contractor and say, can we have X? The joy of the oneTRANSPORT system is if we want to make a change, if we know how to make the change ourselves, we can actually do that in-house, or we can contract it out to somebody else at our whim. So the benefits the County Council currently sees from oneTRANSPORT is getting a better understanding of what data it already holds and how that could be used more efficiently across its transport sector. And so we now have a much better understanding of, say, our automatic traffic counter profiles for our integrated traffic and control centre to use that data in its daily operations than we had before. By having the oneTRANSPORT data, we're able to far more easily share our data with our own interdepartmental groups. As previously the systems have been locked down to share data, each user would have to be authorised to actually have access to that. By having the oneTRANSPORT platform, the County Council can actually very easily share its data within, say, its road safety group, its transport planning group, its public transport group. Now they all have equal access to the data, rather than all having to singularly subscribe to it to get access through our proprietary systems.
oneTRANSPORT is based on oneM2M, which is a global standard for the IoT. What oneTRANSPORT is doing is actually taking real-time information from multiple sensors, databases, putting everything together in a consolidated and horizontal way for multiple partners to tap on that data and actually create multiple solutions. In the same way, oneTRANSPORT has a historical archive of data that can help different analytic engines and solutions providing insight to train their algorithms and their systems to become more effective and more accurate. The future of IoT and the future of transportation is not only focusing on one specific standard. That's why we believe that the future is when you have multiple platforms talking to each other, doing this data transaction in a way that multiple brokers can actually understand and curate some specific parts of data. In that way, what we're doing is we're taking, for example, oneM2M and HyperCAT and joining the two systems to demonstrate how multiple standards can work together, or how proprietary platforms can actually tap into those standardized platforms to become more, let's say, open to integration and solution from different interested parties.
Yes, I think one of the big changes from a client perspective in recent years in a number of geographies around the world has been the shift to a greater customer focus in the way they do business. And the UK is a great example of this with the customer focus from Highways England. And I think as that raises its level of importance, I think solutions such as oneTRANSPORT become increasingly important in terms of the level of service that's provided by a road network or a city.
I think the last 2 years has been an appetizer for us in terms of some of the opportunities of bringing our data together, identifying gaps, collecting more data. We've focused very much on the use case in Silverstone. What we'd like to do is to look broader. So what that means is look at different use cases, different events, and also day-to-day events, and including congestion during peak hours, and how we can utilise the opportunity that the platform can provide to help the management of those events. whether they're strategic events such as Silverstone or a major rugby sporting event, or just day-to-day travel.
The oneTRANSPORT is an open marketplace for data. It allows organisations that have data to publish that and make it discoverable and consumable by other organisations. Equally, if you're an organisation that wants to use data that you can't easily get access to today because it's disparate, it's hidden behind multiple different organisation systems, or the terms under which you could access that data are unclear, then what oneTRANSPORT enables is for you to find that data and consume it under clear open data licence terms. We've been developing this ecosystem over the last 4 years, and we're now at the point where we can engage with any organisation in the UK who has data that they wish to share or who's looking for data that they can't currently access.